Let's dive into the world of tabletop gaming and painting with the Tippy Cast. From rolling dice to mastering brushstrokes, we're here to fuel your passion. Join us for insights, inspiration, and endless creativity. I'm Daz.
And I'm Chris. So, Daz, what's on the table?
Well, Chris, as you know, we've just got, as of the time of recording it, we've not long been into April, and I have already started to fail on my resolutions of painting.
Ooh.
A lot of that's just, work getting in the way and being incredibly tired. I've also not been well. So just one thing led on to another, and then painting went by the wayside. But I have been trying to get the brush wet. I have been painting, but I've not been able to sort of finish. I haven't finished anything.
Mhm.
I've just been putting like the odd layer on things. Like for example, with the plague, from the event exclusive Ospiedale appointment superstar, the Rhea Ripley one. I've just been putting some more base colours on that. The black, the purples,
Nice.
skin tones all done. And the same as. Hang on, one of the minis is missing. I was looking over at my pile and then I've realised one of them's got a walkabouts. I'll find that later.
The cat's got it.
I think it's just. Oh no, there it is. I just can't reach it. Yeah, so just little things like trying to keep the brush wet. But I've not really had the time to finish anything. Like I'll start doing something, like I'll start painting, and then just like tiredness will just completely wash over me, and I'm not able to focus.
Mhm.
So yeah, sadly, not a lot been going on. To be fair, I think there's been like a level of procrastination as well, where I was sorting out my sort of painting space, giving it a bit of a tidy. Yeah. What about yourself, Chris? Anything interesting on the table for you?
Well, I finished my miscellaneous March stuff. I did a bunch of scenery pieces, like scatter terrain and bits, that I've had for quite a while. That's really needed finishing.
Nice.
Majority of it is from Tiny Furniture. They do some really nice resin stuff. And there was a few bits from Max Mini as well. I did a motorbike. It's like a gun bike. It's got two machine guns in front of the
Nice.
handlebars, but ignore them. It's
Ignoring
just
those.
a cool looking motorbike, and I painted it up kind of in the style of the Lone Wanderer motorbike from Fallout. So it's like a nice like deep red metallic gloss shine to it, and just pretty sweet motorbike. Um, the orc loot counters that I painted. It's like gun weapon crates, some missiles and bombs. So I kind of painted them up. Then did some freehand of the gunners icon from Fallout 4.
Nice.
Put them on some of them, and yeah, I like how they came out. And then I realised all of these orc loot tokens that I've done, they have all been done for Fallout now, because there's two ammo crates and then there's a bomb, like a big nuke. So I did that in the style of the unexploded bomb and Megaton. I was like, yeah, nice. So yeah, all of them have been for that. The tiny furniture stuff, there was some things. There's like the little boy nuke. I'd already painted the fat man. No surprise for what they're mainly for. And then things like a mechanics workshop, some weapon, weaponsmith bits, and like tools and stuff like that. There's some little kits for those that just kind of they'll fit into a whole bunch of games, and they're just a nice decorative piece for different environments. So I've got the Dino Gas petrol station, and the mechanic stuff obviously perfect for that. There's some the vehicle lifts that I can't quite get in unless I do a little bit of like cutting away and editing to shorten the leg, like the arms on it. So that'll either happen later, or I'll just do another ground piece for that, and it's just like a separate bit. But yeah, I've got pictures of all that stuff up on the blog, and some of it over on Instagram.
And they look great. I've seen that, and it's I see what you meant, because on our previous episode you were saying that it was very, like more for like set dressing for like other things, and I see what you meant, because when I saw the pictures and I was like, I know, I see what he means now. Yeah, but to add that sort of level of realism to when you're sort of taking pictures, but because when I take pictures of like my minis, I tend to have I've got one of those like white light boxes, and I just do it in that.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to it. And then, or when it's Carnival, I'll put it with like my Carnival buildings. But other than that, yeah, I think it is that added level when you're taking, pictures of of one of your minis. It really does sort of add that next level to it, which is honestly, they look great. If none of you, if you haven't seen it out there, people, it's do have a look on the Instagram and on his blog. They look great, honestly.
So, thank you. And then this month, since we're in April, I'm calling it Aprilian, where I'm going to be focusing on things about my other love, Alien. It's also we've got Alien Day this month on the 26th, so I can't wait for that. I'll hopefully have a good amount of stuff to share in time for it. But today I've been doing some of the Colonial Marines stuff. So I got a bunch of 3D printed minis by Popsicles, and
what a
they
name,
do,
by the way.
yeah, they do unbelievable stuff. So I've talked about them before, where it's like, it's alien in everything but name. Yeah, so they do like a bunch of stuff. There's ones where like, I've just found one where they've got like everything from Alien Romulus, and it took everything inside of me to not just buy it all. So I'll do that another time. But I finally managed to find them, because I got these ones from Only Games, and there's like a big price on that. But I found this guy on Etsy who has a commercial license to sell the Popsicle models, and really good price on them. I found the cryo chambers from the first Alien film, and it comes with like there's some like computer panel sort of bits, and the sleeping crew, which are separate to the chambers. So it's like, yeah, I need that, because in Violent Dark, when you're playing in the ship, it's like the idea of it is the ship's brought them out of cryostasis, and it's bringing the most like relevant people for the task. So the chances are a lot of people have already died, and then you're getting woken up for it. So I was like, wanted to have that so I could actually fully decorate the starting room. But they'll arrive in the next few days, hopefully, because they've already been printed. The guy's got them on hand. So, yeah. But bit of a digression there. I was painting the Colonial Marine stuff. I've done the camo on them, so I've done like two different styles of camo. Some's on the cloth, some's on the armor. So like how it is in Aliens.
Well, on the subject of Alien, actually, I know we touched on it last episode about the Alien RPG, and that was on Kickstarter. And I also mentioned to Chris that So outside Xbox have their own sort of TTRPG called Ox Venture, and they did an Alien one, but they did like a cinematic game version of it, and yeah, it was really
Yeah,
really
it's
good.
Hope's Last Stand.
And it was really good and really good to see. And obviously, they make it like a lot more cinematic. They have all the lighting and the sound effects, but it honestly, but still, the way that it played out, with the stress dice and everything like that, it was really really nice to see, and it looked like it was a good laugh. So I just thought while we were talking about Alien stuff, I thought throw that in there.
Yeah, I've backed that with the it's the Xenomorph pledge level, so you get like the mention in the book and the collector's edition handbook as well. And the miniatures. Gotta have the miniatures.
And they were like, "Oh, this guy again."
But I think I've read through the Alien books and the RPG books, and it's like I really want to get this on the table. I've had it since like 2020.
Well, I mean,
it's just never been able to get it on the table yet.
Well, hopefully, if you've got some PDF stuff, we'll try and get that done in the other page, in the other thing.
In
the other thing.
Be good to play.
Yeah, but
not sure if your young'un will be
no, she won't
be impressed with the amount of dying in it, but because we know she was very upset at your character dying. So
yeah, I mean, to be fair, like it was only a matter of time. Like, yeah, when you have a dragon hunting specifically one person, like it's gonna happen one way or another. Luck of the draw. But no, I'm quite ready to play my new character now. It's gonna cause a lot of problems for everybody, like for the dungeon for Drew anyway. But yeah. So this episode, segue.
nice.
Casual. No one noticed. Segue. So I was at Overlords in Abingdon, the Abingdon War Games Club Overlord. Previous weekend, like Sunday just gone, and which I think first for me kind of like marks the start of like war game show or like show season for me, because obviously you've got, especially in this country, like I'm not going to take Adepticon into this because that's in Chicago and TT Combat refused to pay for my tickets and hotel to get over to Chicago, so I'm not going to endorse that. I will get them to do it one day. So the next sort of show on my calendar is Salute, and I was sort of thinking there's a lot of people who I would say over the last 5 to 6 years, especially with the lockdowns, kind of got into the hobby, or rejoined the hobby in the community, like myself. And now with especially with a lot more things being more accessible, more relatable, you know, with less stigma around it, like Warhammer as a whole. I mean, granted, Henry Cavill's really helped us with that. Some people are starting to go to the shows, like the war game shows, Salute, Expo, Selweg, Warfare, all that jazz. And some people kind of might be put off about it because, whether there's a level of decorum, whether there's a sort of level of, they're worried about gatekeeping. And I think, how do people act at these sort of shows? What's the atmosphere like? And I think, between me and Chris, predominantly me, was sort of like to share a couple of things personally, which I think if you are looking to go to a show or have been to a show and you weren't sure, like, just sort of give you some little tips of how to make how to make the whole experience for you a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, because like this UKGE will be my first gaming expo that I've gone to. I've only ever worked on the table, me and my brother, at like Comic Cons and a horror con. So and it's like the smaller, it's like the big Comic Con TM. It's like the smaller conventions there that I've done. So it's like as a customer going in and seeing the things, this will be the first time I've done it.
So the first thing on that, I think people should be aware of if you are on the fence about going to one of these shows is you know will with people who've been there a lot, are they particularly a welcoming group? I'm going to say this as an honest thing: 99.9% of people in the hobbying community are the nicest people you'll ever meet, and very welcoming. It's that one. That's that point.
It's the Warhammer community that's not.
Yeah, I mean, for their sins, and their choice of who they support, a lot of them are genuinely really nice blokes or really nice people. Yes, in any sort of like community, regardless of what it is, there's always going to be some gatekeepers. It's unavoidable.
Yeah,
But
there's always the bad side of the fandom, but
but
it's not like the majority of the fandom. It's just the
no,
vocal part of the fandom.
majority of it is they're very welcoming people. But so that's the first thing. Don't be afraid of that 0.1% of, quite frankly, assholes in the community who say, "Oh, because you've not been in the hobby for longer than 5 years, you're not. Oh, this is only a passing thing for you." And it's just like, Christ Almighty, mate! It's just like, just because you stuck.
You're there to have fun.
Yeah, it's like I don't like gatekeepers. I really hate it. Um, we're all that for me. People that play games, the better, because more people are playing games. I don't see the point in gatekeeping anything. Like for example, when me and Chris talk about painting techniques, or we talk to each other about stuff. I mean, when I first picked, I think the first time me and Chris spoke properly is I think I picked your brains about something. Oh no, that was it. It was about
It was painting like
like
plaid
checkered shirts.
shirts.
Because and then like Chris could have been like, oh well, you need to be doing this, and all this, but instead he broke it down into something in under a minute. Whereas you got some people who who will make it unnecessarily complicated, so they don't, so just because they don't have something, or so they have something over you. Whereas Chris was like, no, it's just this.
There's a time and a place for going into massive amounts of detail, and painting a pattern shirt on a model is not one of them.
So yeah,
because
tip one:
when you're doing a pattern shirt, you can't really get a lot of highlighting and stuff done because it'll make it too busy.
So tip one: don't be afraid of people gatekeeping. You will be welcomed, even if this is like your first year or two in the hobby. It's a great atmosphere, and also it's a great opportunity for you to link and connect with people who are in the community. Put a face to a lot of games, especially more like especially like TT Combat, Warlord games. You can start putting a face to the game, and start putting faces to people on forums that you're on. And it's like people have recognised me when they come to the TT Combat thing, and they're like, "Oh, you're such and such." Yes, that's me. and it's just lovely to see.
How did they recognise you?
Just by name, because they don't know that.
And beard.
Yeah, name and beard. They go, oh no, I recognise you. But so I think, but then what you need to understand is these events, Salute not so much, but more like the Expo, um, and they're long days. You know, especially the Salute, because you want to kind of get there early-ish, because it's a queue. There's a queue. It's always a queue. I've never had to wait in it because I go in as a trader, so I get to skip the queue. But there's always a really long queue.
Those were the days.
Those were the days. It's a long day. Comfortable shoes, like, is a key thing, I will say. Plenty of water. Now I know that sounds silly to say bring your own water, but because especially in Salute, it's London, it's at the XL. Water and anything,
that's expensive.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive because you're now paying.
And you don't want to drink Thames water.
Oh, God no. But it's expensive. Always try and take as much water as you can, and also even though Salute is in April, when all the bodies are in there at the height of the day, it gets really hot, just because of the amount of bodies in there. Which does lead me to sort of my next point. And this isn't me having a dig at anyone in the community. It really isn't. But when you get that many bodies in one space, there's going to be a smell. It's unavoidable.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's any one person's fault. There's a smell. And a lot of people don't. In my little sort of survival kit for the events when I go with TT Combat, is I'll always have water. I'll have some jelly babies or some other like sugary snack that I can just bang one in and like get a quick sugar hit, because there's a lot of the time I don't get time to eat properly. And deodorant or some sort of eau de toilette sort of spray, just so you can sort of.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm planning on having one of the little mini deodorant cans. It's kind of like your pocket cans. Have some of them and like an aftershave spray. Mainly, I could just put it on the just underneath the nose on the mustache there, just so that's all I can smell.
It's also
that's a tip from one of my uncles when he used to work in people's houses doing jobs. It's like just put a bit of aftershave underneath, and it doesn't matter what the house smells like.
And it's just because as well, some people, like, I know there's this whole stereotype of kind of people who like miniature war gaming or like Dungeons and Dragons, that they're like greasy, sweaty people. Yes, that is like a very generalized stereotype, but those people are frequent in that community. And personal hygiene isn't up there. So don't be surprised if you kind of get that. The deodorant, as much as it is for you, it's also as well that I'm not saying spray other people. Don't do that. That's wrong. It's considered assault. But it's more, you need to understand that it's, that's so you feel.
Yeah, you're smelling nice, so other people don't have to smell your body.
Yeah, and it's just a courtesy as well. Now for me, because this is more of like a very personal thing with demos. If you're planning to talk to a lot of people, because it's quite a loud environment generally, a lot of the speaking that you're doing with people, it tends to be quite close. I'm talking probably about like a foot and a half away, sort of quite close.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're planning on doing, I have one of those, like the old cliche thing where you sort of that sort of mouth spray.
Yeah,
And
your like breath freshener.
I have one of those in my little, my little war game show kit, just because I have to speak to people so frequently, and regardless of my own dental hygiene, there comes a point that because you're talking so much and you're drinking water and obviously your mouth dries out, there's gonna be a little bit of, and
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're eating as well, there's gonna become a smell. Now, if you're gonna get that close and talk to someone, fresh breath is always good.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a dig at anyone. It just happens. Like you're there. It's a long day, and especially if you're going to London. It's in London, which at some point is going to require you to go on the underground. It's unavoidable unless you want to pay the extortionate prices of parking at the XL, which nobody wants to do. I don't. I don't even pay for parking at the XL. I get the train in. Like the last one I
Mm-hmm.
was, I had a hotel near the XL. I still had to walk it, which again, comfortable shoes. Um, and basically, it is a long day, except that. But from a customer point of view, if you're going to visit, honestly, I know this sounds like terrible. I just look out of people, sort of check out all the traders that are going to be there, and then sort of especially if you're more financially savvy, write a list of the people that you want to see, and then what you
Mm-hmm.
want to buy, so you're not tempted to like just buy everything. That's coming more from like a financial advice, as financial advice goes from a wargaming podcast. Um, that's about as my extent of financial advice, But it is.
Yeah, I've been. I've started trying to make a little list of things I'm going to be looking for. So there's a game from Critical Kit called Be Like a Cat. It's a solo or two player RPG. It's like, yeah, I need that.
But it is an overwhelming place. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people talking to you. Um, there's a lot of people in very close proximity to you. Um, so again, be aware of that. It's like obviously the event organisers do the best they can to make sure that stands and walkways are as clear as they can be. But still, there's a lot of things I think.
Yeah, when you've got that many people going around, there's going to be blockages.
So this sort of then leads me on to quite a nice. This one's very much from a personal point of view that I have to do on a regular basis when I'm at the shows, because when I do demo games, I tend to. So I'll give you a prime example. When I'm doing Rumble Slam, I will always start the game as if it's in round two, because round one's generally like just jostling for position. I'll start the game in round two. I'll have it set up in a way that you could do a number of things very quickly without having to sort of go too far, like turnbuckles, rope attacks, grapples, lifts, whatever. That's how I set it up. And
Mm-hmm.
especially at like the Expo and Salute, when we do get a lot of people coming through, we want to be getting a certain amount of demos done a day. There isn't a set number, but we'd like to sort of keep that train moving. So if you are going to demo or take part in a demo game at a booth, be it with me, my dad, Warlord Games, most companies will have demo games on their booth that they want to try and
Mhm.
sell you. Have a level of courtesy to them that there's also, and to other people who might be waiting around you who are wanting to have a go. You know, once you've kind of understood how the game plays to a point, and you can sort of see that they're like the way I'll do it is like I'll try and get you to do everything that I can in one round. After that, it's very much a like, okay, so that's the end of the round, and then what would happen is we would just start that whole process again. That's the game. Any
Mhm.
questions? No. Okay. Not to be rude, but you are, because there's other people waiting, so I need to get them. I need to reset and get them in. It's when people are trying to play longer and longer, and like, I'm not here to play a whole game with you. And it's not, again,
Mhm.
not having a dig. I want people to play games, but there's other people behind you who might be waiting to play that game or to try that game out, especially when they've got kids, because like kids are impatient as hell.
Yeah.
These places are kid friendly. Don't be mistaken with that. I'm not saying don't bring your kids. Bring your kids, but these places are not. Are I'd say any kid who's younger than 8 or 9, it's going to be a bit much for them. The Expo's more
Mm.
fitted out for them. Salute is more like war games rather than just games in general.
Yeah.
Um, and the UK Games Expo is kind of like the big daddy of the year of events. But yeah, just be mindful of other people who want to demo a game that who want to try a game out that you're trying out. I appreciate you might have spare time and it'd be like, oh, well, I've got another like 15-20 minutes to kill.
And if TT Combat have strike team set up for a demo, be courteous of me and let me play it for the entire day.
Within reason. If like, don't get me wrong, look, if someone's playing a game and I've got the time, I will. But
Mhm.
if you need to be, if other people are like sort of waiting around to want to play as well, understand that and be like,
Yeah.
and this one's just more of a common courtesy, I suppose. It's not even like if you see someone who is demoing a game to someone who is playing, don't interrupt them because, like, when I do it, I have a script in my brain that because I have to do it. If someone asks me a question while I'm doing that, it throws me off. It's
Mhm.
also just incredibly rude. And like I'm a really chilled out guy, but for some reason that like really winds me up. And
Mhm.
it's and not so much it makes me a horrible person, but it's kind of like when in Lord of the Rings where like Bilbo sees the ring and he goes like that. It's like that's kind of what happens inside my brain when someone interrupts me when I'm talking. It's like yeah, and it's you can see that this person is demoing. Um, don't interrupt them and ask them a question while they're talking. There will be a natural. There's all when I do these demos. There's like natural lulls that sort of like are very obviously spaces for questions. Um,
Mhm.
and I will also look around but it's like you can quite happily watch a game that someone's playing as a part of a demo. No one's got an issue with that, and you're welcome to ask questions. But it's when they're talking generally, just a courtesy to like not interrupt them because it's very obvious that they've.
Yeah.
And it's not just me; like every other person I know on the demo circuit, we have our own personal scripts that we work to. Like, if anyone's seen me do a demo at the Expo and has been to the Expo 2-3 years before that, and also had a demo from me then, you'll notice I've said exactly the same thing for 3 years. And I'll continue to say exactly the same thing until they change something in the rules that I need to know.
Yeah.
But Also, as well, like just ask the person who is taking part in the demo if it's okay for you to watch. Because some people get uncomfortable with it. Not everyone, but again, this is just a sort of we're all people at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are going to take pictures, this is more of like I don't even know. This is not like a legal thing. It's more of a legal thing rather than the courtesy thing. Companies, we don't have like at TT Combat. We don't care if people want to take pictures of the demos. We don't care if people take pictures of like the stock, the image, the figures in the display case. That's what they're there for, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to take a picture of someone who's doing a demo, or if people you don't know, again, that's just a courtesy thing. Especially if that person's got kids with them, just ask at the end of the day. If you're not sure, just ask. And personal space is a bit like this is more of like a personal pet peeve. I don't like it when people get too into my personal space. That's why I like having demos, because there's a table between that person and me.
Yeah.
Just be conscious of other
A
people.
nice solid
A
barrier.
nice solid barrier. I'm also 6'1" and built like a brick outhouse, so people tend to not come too close to me anyway. But yeah, just have a level of courtesy to people, and just I don't know. This sounds like I'm teaching you to suck eggs here, but just treat other people how you want to be treated in that environment. These people aren't pariahs. They're not horrible people. It's just we're all there to have a good time, and yeah, just be courteous of that. I will also say as well, some people do go in cosplay, more at the expo. Don't see it so much at Salute, although they do go there. It's more the expo you'll see it. Again, ask that person for permission to do anything, like take pictures, whatever. Because at the end of the day, they're still a person, even if they're dressed up.
And just don't touch anything on them.
Even though they might be dressed as an animal, they are a person. That might be a very different convention, but you see my point. But yeah, and yeah, make time to eat, rest, plan your day out. Certain things.
Yeah, UKGE's got like an event planner on their app,
and I highly recommend it if you're going. Highly recommend using it, because it's a very overwhelming experience on all the senses. It's very loud. It's it gets quite warm. There's the smell. There's a lot going on. A lot to the senses. Obviously you've got like a lot of people will be trying to advertise. It's very overwhelming for the senses. I suppose there'd be a weird taste if you want to start licking things. Don't recommend that. In fact, here's a little Daz top tip: don't lick everything.
Oh,
Like if you're going to lick things, hand sanitizer. That's another thing that I have in my demo survival kit: hand sanitizer. If I'm not a germaphobe, but I understand that other people might be, and I also understand that other people's level of hygiene might not be to the same standard as mine. So I will always sanitize after I've shook people's hands, before I touch anything else. You know that if you've come to me and someone else who you think looks a bit grubby has touched me, you can rest assured that my hands will be desanitized. It's like someone said I was like Monk. Remember Monk, the TV show?
I love monks.
Someone said that I was like that, and I was like, I'm not that bad. I just, considering what I do as a job as well, it's weird that I get really funny about my hands being dirty.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Same.
So yeah.
Mine's always covered in blood and stuff.
So just to recap on,
but I need to keep them clean.
My personal survival kit, but not just as a demoer, but also as someone if I was going round to enjoy it as well. Water, little sugary snack just to keep you going. You know, like like a flapjack, jelly babies, something that you could just pop in your mouth on the move. Deodorant or like an aftershave or a perfume if you're a lady. We don't discriminate here. Unless you're a vegan. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's completely at odds to what I do.
Exactly.
So.
Comfortable shoes or a good gel insole. Mouth spray and hand sanitizer. A lot of these things are going to make you keep you feeling like fresh and energized, because it is a long day. It's mentally overwhelming. It's physically overwhelming, especially because it's hot, busy. There's a lot of walking.
Yeah, it takes it out, quite quickly.
Another pet peeve that I have with it, and I hope to recommend this: if you're going to stop, don't just Like I always believe this in supermarkets.
Slow down to a stop.
Slow down.
Don't just
pull off to
throw the handbrake on.
Just slow down and pull to the side, because if you stop in front of someone else, especially me, like you will just hear the mutterings of a very angry man. And I'm already overwhelmed. Like I have to. You'll see me at these events. I have to walk round. That's just me getting a break from what I'm doing, so I can get my legs going. And if someone stops right in front of me and just stops dead, I get really aggravated. And then people be like, "Oh, what?" I had someone.
So if you see Daz, stop it.
Just
that's how he knows that you've been listening to the podcast.
Yeah, they'll turn around and they go, "Oh, hi, Daz," and they say, "I'm slowing and pulling to the side." I'll be like, "Thank you." They'd be like, "Can I interest you in a jelly baby?" And I'll be like, "Yes, you can." Don't accept sweets off strangers. Like, I just realised what I just said there. Don't accept sweets off strangers.
But if you've got a van of kittens outside, come to me, because I will want to see them.
And at the end of the day, just have fun. Now, a lot of these places, especially the Expo, have these sort of things where you can buy stuff and you can pick it up from somewhere else, right? You can store what you've bought there, so you don't have to carry it around with you all day.
Mm-hmm.
Genius.
That's a good idea.
It really is, and I think Salute has started doing it as well. So yeah, you can buy something, leave it there, so you don't have to carry it around with you all day. Now, I will say this: event deals are that. They are good deals. I'm not just saying that, to try and get you to go to these events. Event deals generally are pretty good. But do your homework, because it could look like a good deal, but in reality, it might not. And I'm not saying that TT Combat. I'm not gonna sit here and say that they're amazing. Their deals that they do at events are good deals. So Warlord Games, all the ones that I've seen, there are the odd ones where you look at it and be like, no, I'm pretty confident that I could get that somewhere else cheaper. And don't be afraid to walk away from a situation. These people, a lot of these people aren't going to sit there and make you buy something. You don't want it, don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just be aware that it is a long day. You're going to get tired. You're going to get cranky. You're going to ache the next day. Like, it's unavoidable. Like, when I'm at the expo and I've got a demo, consider I'm stood up like on my feet for about 7.5, 8 hours. I'm on my feet.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's a long day on your feet, that. Especially when you're just in, like, I know you say, like, you get a bit of a walk around, like, on your breaks and stuff. But, I mean, even then, it's like, when you're stood in just one area, it really takes it out of your feet quickly.
Little tidbit for any information that anyone else who's listening. 9 times out of 10, if you've had a demo from me in the last 3-4 years, you've had a demo at me and it's past 11 o'clock in the morning. There's a significant chance I haven't got my shoes on. So, I'm worried. I'm going to tell people that, and then what's going to happen is I'm going to be there at like 12 o'clock. Someone's going to come for a demo, just look over the desk, see if I'm wearing my shoes, and I'll be like, "Someone listens."
I am going to do that, right?
Yeah. You might also people might catch me like when I'm half out of my shoes, like I'll have a shoe off. Again,
It's going to be like,
yeah.
Louis, does he have his shoes on yet?
No, his shoes are off, and it was funny because like I was this woman was talking to me about Carnival, and I walked around with her to the where the stock is for Carnival on the booth, and she was sort of looking, and she looked down at my feet, and she was like, "You not wearing any shoes?" And I was like, "No, my shoes are over there." She goes, "Why have you taken your shoes off?" And I was just sort of like, "Because I have." But the main, I think, to summarise, really, be kind, be aware of other people, be considerate. Don't be afraid of like the 1.1% of gatekeepers at these things, because they get shut down pretty quickly by everyone else.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask questions, like to even vendors, because they're super passionate about what they're doing. Just be mindful that if they are talking to other people, don't just butt in.
Yeah, don't butt in on them.
I think a lot of this could be summarised of just like, don't be a dick.
Yeah, just have like manners.
Yeah. I recommend showering either day of or the night before, 100%. You're gonna get a stank on, like it's unavoidable. Like I'm a very clean person. At the end of the first day, I got a stank.
Get those gamer sweats.
Yeah, it gets gamey. It starts to smell gamey. But it's a great day. Like all these events I've been to, every single one of them has been an absolute blast of a time. I've been doing it long enough now that I start to become like quite friendly with other people who do demos for other companies. It's sort of like you get to know each other, and you get to recognise people quite regularly. And it's just a fantastic event, and you see all sorts of people in the hobby, all sorts of hobbyists coming together. Although I do always give the Games Workshop group, I don't like to go near them. I have my
There's that barrier of sweat that keeps you away from them.
yeah, but honestly, it's if you haven't been to one of these events yet, 100% wholeheartedly recommend it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the expo.
Luckily for Chris,
I'm all booked up for that.
Luckily for Chris, because he knows me, he knows Ben, like he knows Louis and all that. He knows a lot of the guys in TT. Like he's probably like we'll probably just like shelter him every so often. He's like, let's just get him too much. We'll be like, come on, come sit down.
Chris is panicking. Get him in here.
Rest your
Put an air tag on us so you can find us anytime.
rest your feet, weary traveller. It's fine. But yeah, honestly though, it is a great time to be had. And also it lets you see games and try things like more your niche games, like Games Workshop are there. They don't generally do demo games, solely because
because a game from them takes about 4 hours to play.
yeah, they don't want to have to get someone in.
Yeah.
But yeah, just be courteous, be aware of other people. You know, be prepared that it's an onslaught to the senses, visually, audio. It's loud. Just be aware of that. But the main thing is just enjoy it. You know, take in what you want to take in, and with these little things, you get out what you put in. If you want to get out, get more information of people, ask questions. But do listen to the answer, because I don't know about other people, but when I'm asked the same question 4 times, like the fourth time, it's from the same person, more specifically, it starts to grate on you a bit. But or if you are hard of hearing or things like that, also accept the fact that if you've got quite a complicated name, prime example, my full name is Daryl. The amount of times I'll either be called Dale, Darren, and stuff like that, accept the fact that some people are going to make, if you've got like an unusual name, accept the fact that it's going to be said wrong a couple of times.
Or you'll just be called mate by me.
Or bud, mate. Like, I'm old school. Like, I'll say, people to me, if I don't know you like personally, you're either mate, bud. If you're a dude, sweetheart, darling, that's just what I'm like. It's not me, being ignorant to your gender choices. It's just, I mean, I'll also call men sweetheart and darling. It's just I'm that person. Depends what I felt like in the time. Mush. All right, mucker is another one I'll say. Boss or chief, they're the ones. But yeah, it's just, I can't quite explain it. There's something about it that sort of fills you with a deep-seated joy to see loads of people who are all enjoying the same thing be in one place. There's just something oddly satisfying about it. And I can't quite explain it other than that. It's more of you have to kind of experience it to really understand what I'm saying. Like that Danny DeVito meme when he's like, I get it. It's like that. Like, you don't really fully appreciate. Like, you'll come to the expo, Chris, and you'll be like, I get it. I understand. And I'll just be there, just sort of like, yeah. And you'd be like,
this is what
they were on about. But yeah, like, and again, like, if you have listened to this, I'm always up for having a chat with people. But don't be disheartened if, like, you see me with my mouth full of food, because I sometimes don't get time to eat. I am a human being at the end of the day. I have bodily needs that I need to deal with. But
I'm a human, damn
I'm a human. I am not an animal. I am a human being. Well, as low as that definition of a human being goes. But yeah, I mean, just be prepared. I think don't be. That's kind of what I was trying to aim at when I was sort of explaining this to Chris. Is that preparation for what's going to happen. I don't want you, because people get there, they don't quite know how it's going to go, and then they get there and they're like, oh God, and they don't know what to do first.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to do,
just that overwhelming first look at everything.
And the last thing you want to do is fall in a river of chocolate. Yes, that was a Willy Wonka reference. No, I won't feel bad about it. But
I want to fall in the river of chocolate.
I mean, we'd all would. I'm just saying. Do a lap. Don't be. It's like Monopoly. You don't have to buy everything on the first go round. Have a lap. Get your bearings for the place. Then maybe look around, stopping and buying, demoing games. Because, just, ease into it. Don't feel like you have to do everything at once. Ease into the day. It's going to be a long day. And don't worry, the demo games will still be there later on in the day. The vendors will still be there later in the day. We're not going anywhere. We don't go until you leave. But the key thing is to just enjoy yourself. It is a great, great experience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think, and I don't know if you got any questions, Chris, that you kind of want me to enlighten you about.
No, I think we've covered everything for your general Expo convention needs. But something unique to the UKGE is Birmingham Brawl.
Yes, it is. I was trying not to because I feel this, but everyone is as much as we all enjoy hearing my voice, and I feel like, because let's say with Chris is taking a nice little break, I could just sit. You guys can't see this, obviously. This is in an audio format, but I can see Chris through our cameras, and that he was just looking so relaxed, just not having to do anything.
I was just laying back, arm up on the side. I was just like, this is good. This.
But yes, Birmingham Brawl, the Birmingham Brawl. Tickets still available.
I've got mine.
Chris has got his. Tickets still available. It's moved to the Sunday. That wasn't our choice. That was the choice of the organisers. So don't shout at me. I mean, you can shout at me. I won't listen.
But it means that you get to have your Saturday looking around all the vendors and stuff, and getting to your shows and events and things.
Quality products.
I'm tempted to get a ticket for No Rose Board if there's any left.
But yeah, so Birmingham Brawl is still happening. I will sort of say this as a caveat. I have been informed by the top boss, Mr. TT Combat himself. The horse's mouth, if you will.
The troll's
mouth. Yeah, that's better. From the troll's mouth. That obviously, if there's not enough interest in the event, we will pull the event just for and it's not out of anything financial, because they're not paying for the event. All the proceeds from that event goes to the UK Games Expo. It's more, if me and Ben are having to adjudicate it, if we're only there for 2 or 3 people who have attended, that's time and effort, and that we would have to spend somewhere else, and not on the booth getting people through demos. So it was purely because of that. So yeah, if you're on the fence about buying a ticket, buy a ticket. But it's still happening, and any change to that,
get the face down against Tippy's mightiest sons.
If while we're on the subject of that, a little bit of obviously the old Birmingham Brawl gossip.
The Tippy Club waffle pack.
Obviously with the new FAQs and erratars for Rumble Slam. The current reigning champion, Richard, his team is no longer legal, so he's had to change up his team.
Oh
So
God,
that should open up some doors for other people.
that's changed everything. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's so hopefully it'd be an interesting year if obviously if it goes ahead, which I hope it does, because it's always a good laugh. But I just more people need to be playing it, and I can't play
Is he
because
just going to be dropping out? Is he just going to drop out the one that has the price change and swap it with something else?
he is keeping his
I
cards
don't.
very close.
I need to know. I need to know.
He's keeping his cards very close to his chest about it. But just know that there is a chance because he's had to change his team. But yeah, other than that, there's not really a great deal of news on. I just thought I'd say that about the the potential of it being a cancelled event. If you have already booked
That's also something to mention. Sorry to
it's fine.
interrupt there. If you're gonna be playing any tournament games, make sure you're up to date on your FAQs and erratas, because
Yeah,
like something like that, like an entire team may just be changing because of a cost change.
yeah. So make sure that you are using up to date material, and not just in Rumble Stand, but any game, because a lot of games change quite frequently year to year. In fact, if your Games Workshop, the games change week to week, and you've got to buy a whole new book. There it is. There was that Games Workshop jab. Just there.
I'm surprised that you gave them as long as a week.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I've also given them an hour of us recording for me. Well, I say about 40 minutes of us recording for me to start having to go at them. Normally, I'm doing it in the first 20 minutes.
Well, I took a dig at them a couple of
Yeah,
times earlier on, so
come at us.
and I'm the one that doesn't usually take digs at them.
Come at us. We don't care.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, if you don't like what we're saying about Games Workshop, leave a comment down below.
leave
The algorithm demands interaction.
leave a comment, whether it be a time and a location for a duel. Pistols at dawn. Can we make it afternoon? I like to sleep in. Pistol.
I do my killing after breakfast.
I don't like to kill on an empty stomach. But yeah, honestly, there's nothing more irritating than you rock up with a team. The team's no longer legal, then you've got to figure something out, or you've got to beg the other person to let your team run on the rules that you have. No, because that's not fair. But
yeah.
Speaking of changes and new things, segue. I'm not even going to try and segue anymore. I'm just going to say the word segue. New and shiny. Keeping things fresh, fancy, new. Anything caught your eye in the last week, 2 weeks, Chris?
Alien RPG.
Yeah, I mean that was. Yeah, I wasn't under any illusions that was going to be one of them.
Yeah, so the Alien RPG is like my main thing. In fact, the only thing for me. Tell a lie. There's a new and shiny upcoming.
Yeah.
But it hasn't come out yet. But yeah, Alien RPG is the main thing. It's currently on Kickstarter. Free League doing an updated rulebook. It's like a version 1.5 really. New starter set. Everything is backwards and forwards compatible with like depending on which rulebook you're using. So even if you're not interested in like rule clarification book, then the new cinematic campaign can still be played with the original rulebook. Yeah, then outside Xbox did the did the playthrough of Hope's Last Stand. If you're wanting to play it as a player, be careful for spoilers because you're going through the entire campaign. So it's a big one shot. That specific one.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't listen to it too
And,
much because, again, like I didn't want any spoilers, so I just sort of got a basics of how the game played, and I thought, okay, well, yeah,
Yeah, it's set as like a precursor to Aliens. It's like what happened like in Hadley's Hope before the Colonial Marines arrived, and it gets very brutal. You find the cinematic campaigns are made to be brutal rather than your expansive campaigns, where like things are taken a little bit slower. There might not be as many xenomorphs charging around, ripping you to shreds, but the danger is still present. But yeah, awesome. Love those books. My other one I was thinking is a tease that TT Combat have put out about someone who savages and drools all over their opponents. They were very blurry in one of the recent photos they did, where it's the unwritten rules of Rumble Slam.
yes,
And if you've been following my Instagram, you'll have seen that model already. It's a Kickstarter, one of the Kickstarter teams that came out near in time for read.
oh, it is getting very, very close. Yep, because I have that figure as I've got those group of figures as well. Yet to play with them, and I'm really looking forward to playing with them. But yeah, fantastic. They are a fantastic mini, and yes, from my understanding, very close to retail. And and I want to say I'm very confident that at minimum they will be out of retail before the expo or at the expo. Potentially Salute, but we'll see. We will see. The other thing I was like, I know there was like, did you see the April Fool's thing that they did with the yeah, like
Yeah.
the first part is because like for anyone who doesn't know, like TT Combat did a April Fool's joke where they essentially they were going to release they were like they did an advert for like a fragrance, and it was like obviously for
like an eau de toilette,
but for like the smell of so that the juicy sweetness of the 3-in-1 oil meets the warm depth of 3mm wood and quick drying sealer, combining to create a memorable scent that lingers on the skin. Worst part is, like, I love the smell.
The laser cut MDF.
I love the smell of the laser cut MDF. Like, I keep loads of it as almost like potpourri, like in my painting area.
It's really nice.
The worst part is, my dad saw it. And my dad was like, I know it's meant to be a joke, but I know that he says, I know Dad would probably really love that. But
I'm waiting for Rottaguts, Gooch, and Oda Rashal.
Oda Rushai. Yeah, that would be kind of a fishy smell, wouldn't it? But just with the slightest hint of blood. But yeah, I mean, that's obviously the Alien RPG you spoke about, and there hasn't really been anything announced for TT Combat, anything coming out anytime soon. Everything that they've said's already coming. Well, I can't really say anything because they've not done. I'm not going to say it. Just, little tease.
Oh, you tease. What are you like? TT Combat's latest releases have got like the Shaltari dropship, PHR battleship, and Biofisser battleship.
Yeah, because
the Carnivale's Blood Studies, which we talked about last time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to them. Fantastic models. Never been disappointed with I've not been disappointed with any of their new figures. I still believe that the heavy pounders the heavy pounders and green bruisers should be resculpted. Just because I think they are a little lackluster now. That's just my take on it. They don't need to do anything with that. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. They're just nice single parters, other than the troll on the.
Yeah, pretty much. God, there was something else, and it's completely escaped me. Nope, I had it, and it went. But
that'll be for the next episode.
Yeah, I'll remember it as soon as we stop recording. Be like, I'll get into bed, and I'll be like, oh, that's what it was. But some disgusting speculation. We've not had any of that.
Oh.
Not had any of that for a while. Ugh, disgusting speculation. The Pulcinella chariot that they teased on the advent calendar, I believe will be out this year. Like, very confidently. My disgusting speculation is that I reckon it's going to be at Salute. And that's not even like yeah. I normally have an inside track on these things, but there's nothing been said. So that's just some disgusting speculation. That I believe it will be out for Salute, or definitely the Expo. But yeah, just really, I have been waiting so long for that. Like, my dad has been waiting so long. Ever since they teased it.
You've been saving your pennies for it.
Oh, he has been. Like, he's constantly asking him when it's going to be, because like he just wants to get his grubby mitts on it. Like, because my dad loves Pulcinellas, like absolutely loves them. Like, he loves them in all form. Like, I have not painted Pulcinellas for Carnival because my dad paints them all. Like, I don't get a look in with Pulcinellas.
Has he also done the Rumble Slam ones for you?
Well, no, he did King Punch for me. I've got him here. I don't keep him with the rest of them. I'll get him out.
Got to keep him away from the rabble.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I occasionally use King Punch in ostrich racing because it's hilarious.
Because he keeps up with them.
It's just funny, like, when you've got it.
Be the ostrich you want to see in the world.
Exactly. Don't let anyone else take your ostrich. But yeah, so
I do love that King Punch.
Oh, he is fantastic. It's just how quick he moves. What was it? 7 movement? Oh yeah,
yeah, he's like the fastest moving thing in the game.
Oh yeah, he moves 5 move. But yeah, when it's
his crowd pleaser pushes it further.
Yeah, so his crowd pleaser it's not a real ostrich, right? Yeah, and he gains 2 extra MP. So yeah, when he gets his crowd pleaser, he can move 7 squares. It just becomes the fastest thing.
Yeah, he's the fastest thing in Rumble Slam.
But yeah, it's there's nothing that's really tickled my fancy, new and shiny wise. Which is a shame, because not to say new stuff hasn't come out. It's just not really tickled my pickle. I'm not massively into Drop Zone. Battle Drop Fleet. Like, I'll keep an eye on it, but it doesn't really excite me. But yeah, hopefully my advice for your first events, and even if it is like you're not your first event and you've kind of thought some little tips, maybe something I've said that you've not really thought of, thinking, oh, actually, no, that's a good idea, I'll take some of that.
Yeah, there'll be some stuff going into my survival pack that that you've mentioned.
Just I think it's things that nobody really thinks of, like yeah, like deodorant or like a little spritz. But yeah, it's just because I deal with people there all the time, and I'm very self-conscious about how I present myself. Because the last thing I want is to present myself in a poor way, and then it reflects badly on TT Combat.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because you're representing the company.
So I'm representing them
when you're there. So
the last thing I want is to be a sweaty, smelly mess, and that nobody wants to come anywhere near me.
yeah, you're not on the GW table.
I'm not on that GW. I'm not on that G-Dubs table. Oh, come at me, guy. Come at me. You know where I am. I'm at the meet. I'm at the event. You know where I am.
You're at the TD combat table.
You want to come?
And I'll be there as well.
Yeah,
You'll be able to spot me because I'll be wearing a shirt with a cat on it.
You want to come fight me, GW? You know where I am.
Come at us.
I'll give you the Tippy Club. Bam! Straight in the face. Bam!
Bah! Too sweet right in the face.
You won't see it coming. I'll double-hand it. Thanks for joining us on the Tippy Cast, and if you're listening on Spotify, be sure to follow us.
And if you listen to us on YouTube, why not drop us a like and subscribe? And weigh in with your thoughts on what we've mentioned, missed, or something for us to look at for the next episode in the comments below.
And it's a goodbye from him.
And it's a goodbye from me.